G'day guys. What am I doing? Fixing detectors on Good Friday. I don't know. Anyway, this one here, you might be interested in this one. This one here came in and it was behaving very, very badly. It was super noisy. It had massive ground balance issues and it was drifting. And by drifting, I mean that the threshold was not stable. It was sounded like it was on the verge of going into oscillation and then coming back down and then drifting again. And again, this is one of these, well, what do we call it? The GFX 7000, which for all purposes, whoops, there goes a chair into the tripod, losing real estate in this room. There we go, back down. I've got this thing running, and I'll tell you what, I'm very, very surprised. If you ever look at the circuit board on this, I mean, what's the difference? What is the difference? Nothing. Well, it's probably a little bit different. Oh, looks like my dinner has arrived. That's all right. I can eat and chat. I can eat and talk. Oh, there we go. No words said. So anyway, this is that, and God, so many messages coming through at the moment. It's crazy. But that is a Minelab knockoff. That is what it is. It's a knockoff of a 4500. And this one in particular is quite interesting. See, I don't know about how I do know, but I'm not going to say. But I've said it before. How these actually come into the country, or do people just not care? It doesn't say it's manufactured by Minelab. It's not a Minelab product, is it? Because it's a GFX 7000. Now, as far as I know, Minelab do not make a GFX 7000, and they do not make a detector that is basically baby poo brown. What a terrible color, actually. And it maybe it wants to hide on the goldfield too. I don't know. But this one's come in, and anyway, with a few things I've done to it, it is now behaving like a completely different beast. I've got it set up. Now I've got that booster running. Yeah, that's the booster on full bore, flat out. And I've got it on my, it's in mono mode on my anti-phase coils. And now I've got the overhead lights on. There's a fluoro one behind me. To have my dinner at the same time. But now, this has been fixed up to be a very, very nice and well behaved detector. Now, at the moment, it's in normal mode. Sitting there humming away, and make sure I don't hit the tripod. I'll just get my trusty hot rock, wherever it is, over here. Yeah, as I said, I had it up near the coil. The trusty old hot rock. So let me do quick track because it's probably drifted. It's been sitting there for so long. Now that's in normal mode. It actually tracked that out. That thing. That is quite a feat, actually. That's like a detector's had a hell of a lot of work done to it. Anyway, let's go into enhance. And I'll flick it back as so. Just give it another flick back and forth. Whoops, wrong one. Damn it. Try again. Tracks it out beautifully, no problem. So that's in enhance, and in all these modes with little fast timings in there, little fast transmit receive windows, the noise does come up usually, and maybe it is on interference part of the spectrum. I don't know, but we'll stick it back in normal mode. It's fine. Like I say, it's full whack. I'll just maybe I'll reset the whole detector for the fun of it, because I haven't. Freaking sounds exactly the same. Okay, there was something different. The tone was different. Anyway, that's like full bore. Sitting there on normal. I'll just do a depth test quickly. I'll just give it, because I've got some markers where I can stand in the room and look at objects in the distance and get an idea. So let's have a look. That is as sensitive as all hell. Okay, you want to see this. On a very, very small coil, bear with me, I've got to crank this up to do this, otherwise you won't be able to see it. I would not buy one of these detectors and use it as is. I would not do it. They need to be fixed up. Okay, I'm going to wind it. God, this is a fraught with danger doing this, but I'll do it. Okay, get down there. Okay, now I can do it. 2 hands on the thing. Now I might have to do it like let's get a bit high. Okay, let's try that. I'll lock that, or do I lock it somewhere else? Lock it there. That's it. So I don't want it to go flying down. But I have to angle this up so you'll be able to get an idea. Look at those tiny coils I'm using. I've got it. Is that high enough? Probably. Okay. I don't know. I can't see behind the camera where I'm going to be. So, okay. So if you want to look at the coil, it's only that. And I've got the one counterwound here to act as a phase shift on the noise just in the room. So we're actually losing half our receive signal, by the way, with having this coil here. If we were running a mono, there would actually be a little bit better signal. But there's our battery. I can't reach much higher than that on this angle. Nothing wrong with that. I take it you can hear it. I think you can, because I've got everything full bore. But I don't know if that got the whole shot there, but it was way up in the air. I was just like gobsmacked. Really, really gobsmacked. So I've done a job and a half on this one. The fellow who purchased it will no longer be pulling his hair out. So that is, yes, little coils there. As you can see, I've got 2 cables Squeeze. Oh, I can't do that, can I? Here we go. Round, round, round. Grind, grind. Going into the detector there. I've got the two cables. And yeah, just very, very jerry-rigged onto the plug and socket on the detector. But it's such a good way to get rid of noise. And what I was experimenting with too, because when you have two of these running two coils like I'm doing, it's like a double O, but sort of like a double D. And we'll go up here. There we go. Oh, now I'm zoomed in. Hang on, I'm going to zoom out. It'll look crazy. Okay, that should stay there. I've got the camera on a bit of an angle too. I've noticed I've got one leg short, but anyway, don't worry. We're not tilting. It's just the camera's a bit. Stuff it. But if we get one of these, say it's a transmit one, this is a receive. This does nothing, of course. Really, it's just picking up any signal that's presented to it and flipping it. But what if we get this? It's a little bit noisier because we're not in the same plane. But let's try an experiment. No, it gets noisier. It's got to be up here. No, it wants to be flat. But it's the other experiment. It's going to wiggle all over the place, so I've got to get in there and grab it. If you had that coil above the other coil, like that, this coil here is going to be picking up all the target signals. This one here is only going to be picking up interference. So on small gold, this one's not going to have any effect. You should be able to run absolute bucket loads of gain on a coil stack like that and you can get a real win from it. Get this coil and put it up here, like so. Now I don't think it's that hard to do. If you actually had some double D cable, you could do it really easy. That goes on the receive double D end of things, and that there will be your target picking up coil. So it'll ground balance, it'll do everything properly. But if you've got a lot of chirpy noise around the place, having it like this is in the workshop, and that's how much chirp we're getting. And I haven't even probably I did have the frequency set so it was low noise. I did do a scan on it, but now it's probably just reverted back to some noise channel. But how's that for an idea if you can make double stack coils? I have mentioned it before, but I don't think I'd really drove it home to anybody that what you could get out of it. So yeah, it's sitting up there with a bunch of iron and ferrite cores, by the way, too. It's probably upsetting it. It would unbalance the flux balance between the coils anyway, doing that. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Anyway, that's that. That's this GFX 7000. It's funny how they picked the name 7000. I would like to know the official Minelab stance on this, because I don't know. It's not being sold anywhere as a Minelab product, but when you look inside, it's a bit like a dead ringer. it's very, very, very exactly the same, more or less. There is some differences. There is differences on the board, which is to the product's detriment. So in that regard, it's probably good that it's not marketed as a Minelab product, because it would be a bit embarrassing. These things out of the box do not work properly. They just do not. But they can be made to work properly. And I've got it sitting over there, so I better point it back at what I'm doing. So I don't know why hasn't the factory over there in China been shut down? if this is the case, if it's a complete knockoff? Why is that allowed to continue? And also this other one, the 8,000 thing that's kicking around, right? What's the story? Why are these allowed to be manufactured and sold all around the world? Because, if someone did that with one of my designs and I was a big multinational company, I'd be stomping all over them. So I don't know what the story is. I really don't. It's same as the coils. We know for a fact nugget finder coils are not made or distributed in China, but you can buy nugget finder coils in China. It's very, very interesting, isn't it? To say the least, it's interesting. But yeah, look, how does it come to be? I would like some notification of the official stance on these detectors. It is robbing market share, isn't it? It has to be, because whoever bought that and didn't buy a Minelab. So there's there's a light on in the house. I know that because it just went woo. But this is robbing market share from Minelab. Even though it doesn't work properly when it goes to market, it can be made to work properly. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, but then you've got to get it more or less re-tricked up to work properly, and it does. It works really well. I just don't know what to say about this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to turn it off. It's driving me crazy. But it is. If you look at the boards on that to the Minelab, it's identical. There are some corners cut for sure, especially in some of the component selection, which I have to change. The one that gets me the most is the output core. Not that big lumpy thing sitting on the wires, but the output core on the transmitter stage just before it goes into the coil. I'll show you what I mean. How about I just grab this thing? Look, same mylar, same everything. I'll take that off. I don't like stressing those things out. They do break. But now I'm just getting behind here. So make sure I don't touch that 200 volt thing. Get away from my hand. Yeah, if we have this here, you see this core here? This one. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got 2 turns of wire on it. Right? It's not going to do much. It's meant to be just shaving off the corners on the square waves from the transmit, just so it doesn't cause interference. But that needs to be done. That's one thing. If it goes out in the field, that won't pass. It probably will not pass any. Oh, I'm not going to say for sure because I don't know, but it probably wouldn't pass EMC compliance. So that will need to be redone, because if I get a Minelab one, a genuine product, right? They haven't skimped. Of course not. There's a core there, the same thing, and we don't even know what the grade of core that is on that one. And have a look at the turns on that. It's got buckets more turns, much more inductance, and it will clean up any harmonics generated from the transmitter for sure. So that's interesting. They are the same, but they're not. Oops, something fell off this board. Don't know what it was, but anyway, this doesn't work. This come off a quad bike, hit a tree at very high speed, and this is the one it's actually fractured all the way through the board, and it's just tracks broken everywhere. It can't be used, it can't be fixed. It's just a showpiece, stick it on the mantelpiece or something. But if we get the whole thing here, you have a look at it, you just have a look at that. It's exactly the same. It's identical. Yeah, but they have skimped on a few things, and they're a bit messy when they glue these in for sure. It's a bit horrible. Yeah, and instead of using the epoxy type coating, I don't know if you can tell on these. It's house paint. It's stained Dulux. Oh dear me! And I don't know if I should tell you this. Uh, if you take the paint off, you can see all the part numbers. But anyway, that's another story. I think you can anyway, because I can read them through the paint. I'm not joking. Oh God! Not that it worries me. I already have. Oh yes, you can too. I already have the part numbers for these. That's how I repair them. But yeah, it's you know, that's how you tell it's on a Minelab. It's got little part numbers on it. So that's a bit of a funny one, to say the least. Sorry. Oh dear me. Hey, I'll just check on the back here. Yeah. ADG 333. You can see it through the paint if you're holding the light in the right way. It's amazing, isn't it? HGF 40, is it? Yeah, 4040. Now, I'm not going to read out the part numbers, but it's what it is. So, um, the Chinese trying to do a knockoff have probably given rise to other people doing knockoffs against them because they've left the part numbers on there. It's in my own opinion, of course. So that's quite amazing, And look at the back of the board. Come here, you. What gets me? This is funny. I tell you, I don't know why, but Minelab on the detectors put this sticky stuff here on the back of this mylar copper thing, and they do exactly the same. Maybe they think it's necessary to make the detector work. I really don't. I'm pulling your leg. I don't know why they even bother. Hey, how about put some more turns on that output filter than worry about putting bits of sticky foam on the back of the mylar. Yeah, bit funny. It is. It is amusing, but if you look very closely at all this stuff, I mean, serial numbers, same spot, assembly numbers, it's exactly the same. And you have a look at it, a lot of it's absolutely identical. It really is. There's a date there, and I'm sure that is, well, would it be? It says 23/16. I don't know. 23rd month, couldn't be. 2nd of the 3rd of 16. I don't know. I really don't know. All I do is muck around with all these bits. I don't know too much about the markings on boards. By the way, people want to know how you tell one of the older higher gain GPX 4500s from the new one, and there's something. Oh damn it! It's on top of my head. It's written in one of the comments. Someone wrote it in the comments on one of the videos, and they got all the details there. So have a look in the comments if any of you wanted to know which was what out of those 4500 old and new ones. It is written. Someone knows, and they actually wrote it there, the whole lot. I think might be. I'm not going to say because I'll get it wrong. Because I just looked at it and said, "Oh, someone's actually put the information there," and it actually sounded dead true to what the information was. So it could be someone related to a dealer or something. Who knows? Someone. They're not going to say their name, are they? And but yeah. So have a look there if you want to know which ones are which of those older detectors. And that's the funny thing. This thing here seems like it's screaming with a lot of gain. So these might be set up with a gain of 48 rather than 34. So that might be on these GFX. I really hate saying it, GFX 7000. You know, it's so pass off marketing, isn't it? Really, it's quite woeful. But you know, uh, if you're buying these things, you know, and you want to support the knockoff industry, well, that's what you're doing. It's not for me to say do it or don't do it. And you know, really, I really do want to know what the official stance on this stuff is. You know, because I know the Chinese were putting out um, these things with the blue box, absolutely identical dead ringers for the 4500, and then they tried putting out I know they put out a 5000, didn't go out for very long because it had no fine gold mode. They couldn't emulate it or whatever, however they did that. We know how they did it, but I'm not going to say. But it didn't have that particular mode in it, so that got screamed at really quickly by people around the world. Because I know where they send a lot of these detectors. They send them to Russia, all through that Eastern Bloc. That's where a lot of them head off, because if you actually go and have a look if you find the websites where they're selling, a lot of it's in Russian. It's directed towards the Russian market. So that's where all these things end up. But yeah, you know, the Chinese knockoff industry will take $1 from anybody, so they're not shy, and that's why you got these things. But no, why? Why? I actually had a couple of the very early Chinese 4500s, the blue box ones, and I had a look at those, and it's very, very hard to spot the difference. And the biggest difference is the type of paint that they use on the boards. That's the biggest giveaway. And other parts of it too. There are other things. I haven't got. Have I? Can you tell? If you have a look at the foil here, this foil, it's not very thick. It's much thinner than what Minelab use. And what have I got down here? If you have a look at the Minelab one, this is someone's detector that's, oh, it's got his name on it. Hang on. It's come in. I was cover up his name. But this one's come in for some work to be done on it. And if you have a look at the silver foil there, see how shiny that is? That's how you can tell that it's a Minelab. But it looks like a Coke can. It's that sort of alloy. It's very, very shiny. Now, I'll just put this one back down here because there's me thinking I was going to get holidays, and it's gone ballistic. I don't know if you can see on this. It has a slight mottled pattern on it, where it's like it's been hard rolled or something. That's the only thing I've noticed that is different. And there's some of the dye marks where these have been injection molded in here and here are a little bit different as well. If that had a GPX 4500 blue label on it and it looked like that, you'd think it was the same thing. Oh, the other giveaway too is the fast track. The other ones they use the round type. These have a square one. So obviously, there's a company in China, obviously doing a bit of a similar production on these type of connectors. And if you see it there, the sticker is square. On the Minelab, it's not. It's a round setup there. So we'll put that back there, flipping these things all over the place. I'll go back to this one down here, and I'll just show you, just so you know. Oh no, this one's got a square one on it too. Hang on a second. No, that's Minelab. I'm sure there were some of these detectors that these were the screw-in round type, because I've replaced them where people have bent the pins over and mangled them. So that's a square type. It's nicely recessed in there. Hang on a second. I've got myself thinking now. Ah, they're all square. I had some come in where I've replaced them and they're round. Very strange. Anyway, I'll have to look into that. Or, no, couldn't be. They couldn't be making them with and without, could they? I don't know. See, this gets confusing because you don't know what you're working on half the time. You have to be very careful that it's, not a really well-made copy. But that's what it is. Anyway, enough about that. And don't forget to, when I upload that video on Tuesday about the 7000 standard and the 7000 modified playoff, that's going to open some eyes. Anyway, catches.